Guys, it's Daze. As you know, I've been going through some things with Crohn's, and this is another log about some events that's gone on since my last one. I've been on, talking to people, but I haven't really done a log for it, simply because I've been doing a lot of things. One would be the stool sample. That was probably the worst experience I've ever had. Literally. First of all, I had to get the stool sample. Okay? And I didn't know how to do it, so someone actually gave me a recommendation on Facebook of how to get a stool sample. And that was to put a bag in a trash can and almost, in a sense, use the bathroom in the trash can and cut the edge off so you could use it like a cake decorator for the little bitty cup that I had to put it in. Well, I actually took that advice because seemed like the easiest route, because that cup was kind of small. And I know you don't want to hear about this, but it is part of Crohn's. So that's what I'm doing. I'm making another log for Crohn's, and that's just, one of the little things that you have to do. But that's not even, the other things like medicines and whatnot. You go on a lot of extra medicines when you're having a flare up. You go on steroids. You go on sometimes antibiotics because of the steroids. And if you're already taking what they call an autoimmune type shot or infusion treatment, it makes you end up having to sometimes take antibiotics a lot, because it just makes you, your autoimmune drugs, they suppress your immune system so you can't fight off sickness. So that's another reason why I was worried about going in the hospital, because if I go with extra medicines, it just seems like I always come out worse with something else. And all the extra work and just everything going on, it just makes it that much harder to deal with. But I gotta tell you the embarrassing story that happened. I don't know if you've seen my post on Facebook, but I had probably one of the most embarrassing moments, and it wasn't even that I was really in front of people. It's just, if you know me, I don't get embarrassed pretty much about anything. However, have you ever had to take a bag of poop somewhere? Or stool, whatever you want to call it. Have you ever had to drop that off somewhere and or even, I'll just start my day. Alright, I did the stool sample, alright, and I didn't take it the day of, because I did it that night and nothing was open. And it's like, so I had it sitting in the bag just hanging out over there on this corner. Yeah, I was holding on to my poop. And the next day, I had to get myself together and get up and get enough energy to go. But I got up and I forgot. I've got this paper, the order for the doctor, but it doesn't say where. They just tell you to go to any lab. So part of my day yesterday was, first of all, to call around and find out where to take my duty. I done my duty, and I had to actually call and say, who wants my duty, But that's part of it now. I found somebody close, being that I'm like 45 minutes away from my doctor, or 35, whatever. Taking it up here, I was kind of wondering if it would matter, but it didn't. So I took my duty I called and I said, you know, I done my duty, now where do I need to take it? And I guess that was kind of a joking type comment, but they didn't take me serious at first. But then I had to really say, you know, I took a stool sample and I need to drop it off. Where do I drop it off? And they're like, oh, okay, well, you can pretty much take it to any lab that takes your insurance. And I'm like, oh, great. So that means you have no recommendations of where I take my poop. And they were like, no, just anywhere that you can get it in. And I didn't know what else to say on that word, but however, I took the poop to a lab near me, and then little did I know when I get to the lab, it was going to be an experience of my lifetime. There's no better moment in your life when you have to walk into a lab and sign up to drop your poop off. Okay? And then you think about grabbing your poop in a bag and taking it to a person and saying, here's my poop, you know? I don't guess I got embarrassed. It was more the after, what happened occurred after that had probably embarrassed me more. I went into the office and they were filling out my paperwork, you know, so I could drop it off, and then she called someone else in there because she didn't know how to write something on the computer, and this is right here in front of the whole waiting room. He needs to drop off some stool, you know, in the waiting room, and I'm like, you know, trying to avoid looking around to make sure nobody knew I had a bag of poop sitting there, but everybody was looking. But I just went with the flow, you know, and then this woman comes in there and they're sitting there arguing about which poop specimens they need, and I'm sitting there turning probably a couple of shades of red with poop in my hand. And then following that process is when they finished all the paperwork and they had to redo it because they messed up. Because if they would have done it as a drop off, which should have been done in the first place, but originally they were doing it some other way, and I was going to have to pay to drop my poop off. So yeah, that wasn't going over well with that one person, so she had to make it known that she needs to make it a drop-off of poop so I didn't have to pay anything right now. And if I had to pay anything, well, I'm like, whatever, at this point. It's known in the waiting room that I'm having a bag of poop dropped off. So after that, little did I know it was going to be more of an experience.